There was a time when tenderloin was actually one of my least favorite cuts of steak, but I have turned that all around. I'm going to share a couple tips and tricks that is sure to move tenderloin to the top of your list just in time for the holidays. Thanks Dalstrong for sponsoring today's video. Hey, I'm James from Smokin' Dad Barbecue, and who doesn't love tenderloin? This guy, historically, for a few reasons, compared to a tomahawk ribeye, my absolute favorite steak, I just find the tenderloin doesn't pack as much flavor, and the experience of cooking it I don't enjoy as much as that bone handle and you're flipping your steak right over the live fire. So I tend to skip the tenderloin when given the choice at the butcher or at Costco. But every year around this time of year, the tenderloin or Chateaubriand, the center cut of a tenderloin, comes to the top of the family wish list. And so we're gonna throw everything we've picked up this year, all of our new tips and tricks and secrets at this tenderloin, and see if we can turn around the misperception or perceptions of tenderloin not being one of our favorite steaks. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna dry brine it, but with no ordinary dry brine. We're gonna do our Lowry's secret rub combination. Then we're going to smoke it, but with no ordinary smoke. We're not using wood. I'm gonna do the same thing as I did on my Thanksgiving prime rib, and we're gonna herb smoke this tenderloin with fresh aromatics. And last but not least, we are going to make a cheater creme fraiche sauce infused with fresh sage that is really gonna set this off and go perfect for the holidays. I think you're gonna absolutely love this one. And if it can change my opinion on tenderloin, I think we can change yours. So without further ado, let's go back to yesterday when this cook actually got started, since we want to dry brine this steak overnight. And I'll rejoin you in a couple minutes time. We're getting ready to fire up the grill. So first we're going to make a simple rub. Now instead of it being equal parts pepper and equal parts salt, we're going to do the one that I've shared before, which we're going to split the salt between Diamond Crystal Kosher salt as well as some Lowry's. So to start, I've just got an empty shaker. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of black pepper. Then we'll go for 1 tablespoon of our Diamond Kosher crystal salt, 1 tablespoon of Lowry's, and then I'm going to add about a half tablespoon of garlic. Mix that up well, and our rub is ready. So this is a denuded tenderloin, so we won't have much work to get our Chateaubriand out of the middle section, so I'll bring you nice and close while we trim this up, dry it off with some paper towel so that our dry brine rub can get right to work. We'll put this on a cookie sheet and put it in the fridge overnight. This Chateaubriand is going to be amazing, and I'll get you right back to the action in a few minutes. But first, let's take a moment to thank Dalstrong for sponsoring today's video. If you've been following my channel for a while, this will come as no surprise to you because you already know I am a huge fan of Dalstrong knives, and they're the ones that I recommend to my own family, friends, or you guys when you ask. Now there are 3 reasons I love my Dalstrong knives, and first has to be the incredible craftsmanship and quality materials that go into these. Whether it's the first time you open the box and you're getting a look at it for the first time, or it's years later, I'm absolutely blown away with the stunning beauty and craftsmanship that goes into these knives. Second is the fit and the finish and the handle. This knife, all these knives feel like an extension of my own arm, and I have full confidence to tackle things maybe I've never even cooked before, because the knife is going to perform like an extension of my own body and not be something I need to worry about getting in the way. So whether I'm chopping, dicing, slicing, carving a brisket, you name it, I feel completely at home using any of my Dalstrong knives. And lastly, and maybe most important, the reason I feel fully comfortable recommending these is they come with a sort of no risk guarantee as well as a lifetime warranty. So if you ever have any sort of issues, Dalstrong stands by their product for the life of the product itself. So those are my top 3 reasons. There are plenty more to get into, but I'm going to put a link down below to check out the complete lineup. I've happened to be a big fan of the Shogun series, but there are many more styles and knives to find one that matches your individual tastes and preferences. Thanks again to Dalstrong for sponsoring today's video. Now back to the action. Okay, so just off camera, I've just taken our beef tenderloin out of the refrigerator so it can start to shake off some of the chill from being in the fridge dry brining overnight. And that is about the perfect time right before we're getting ready to light our fire. So today I'm going to be using the Kamado Joe Big Joe Series 3 behind me. And so like always, we're going to start with a cleaned out charcoal basket so we get rid of any leftover ash. I'm gonna add some Fogo for today. Now, I'm adding Fogo for a few reasons. Since I found, I shouldn't say, I keep saying I found, but my family has found, it does a much better job on things that we don't want to go crazy on the smoke. And now I have a hard time sometimes noticing this. If I'm standing out here, I'm lighting the charcoal, smelling whatever we're smoking, over time, I've learned that this is softening my palate. So when I do the taste test and I think it's right on the money, and I take it into the family, sometimes family and friends say that's a little bit too strong on smoke. And I never noticed the same day, but the next day when I go for leftovers, I say, oh my gosh, it's like a slap across the face. There's a lot of smoke. And so I've really come around to Fogo for things that are delicate in nature, whether it be poultry, some fish, or like today, this beef tenderloin, we do not want to over smoke it. So I'm going to be using some Fogo, and then we're going to rely on those aromatics for giving us that little bit of a smoke sensation, along with a unique flavor and profile that throwing some of those aromatics directly into the coals is going to do. So to set up, I'm going to do an indirect side and a direct side. That's just going to give me easy access to the fire so we can throw in some of our aromatics, and we will be on the road in no time. So I'll rejoin you in a couple minutes when our grill is stable and up to temperature. Somewhere around 300 degrees Fahrenheit, I think will be perfect for our indirect sear portion of our beef tenderloin cook. So while we're waiting for our grill to come up to temperature, it's the perfect time to get to work on our creme fraiche sauce. So I don't have a particular recipe that I follow. I'll show you how I like to make mine, but you can adjust to your own liking. So the main ingredients here is going to be some sour cream, some full fat one works best, some garlic, some smoked sea salt. I'm using Maldron smoked sea salt, some fresh cracked black pepper, along with some garlic cloves. And we're just gonna mix that up, slice up our sage and incorporate it all and let that sit in the refrigerator, hang out for the next hour or so while we are finishing up our tenderloin so that is ready to go. I nearly forgot the best part. What really sets this off is horseradish. Maybe I should write this recipe down so I don't miss the main ingredient next time. So I'm going to also just add some horseradish here. We like extra hot, so I'll go for a good dollop. Very healthy. Mix that in, and we're gonna let this hit the refrigerator. So also going to take the opportunity now to make our smoke bombs. So I've got a pack that came with everything. So I've got some fresh parsley, some rosemary, and thyme. So we'll make up a couple bundles of that so that we can smoke our tenderloin with those fresh herb aromatics, as well as let our creme fraiche sauce start to set up in the refrigerator. Okay, our grill has stabilized right at 300 degrees Fahrenheit, which is exactly where we want it. So let's insert a meter probe. I'm going to set this up a little bit earlier than I want it to finish. So around 114 to 120 degrees Fahrenheit is going to give us plenty of an opportunity to check other spots, make sure that we're not overdone on one side, underdone on another side. So that'll give us an opportunity to recover, make any adjustments if need be. And once we've got our meter probe in, we can throw this on along with our first smoke bomb. So let's get this on the grill. Okay, the meter says we're about the halfway point on our tenderloin, so I think it's the perfect opportunity to add our second smoke bomb. So just like before, we're going to throw that directly on the coals and let this keep on cooking. Okay, our meter probe has said we've just hit 114 degrees Fahrenheit, and in the time it takes for me just to turn on the camera and tell you it's hit 114, it's already gone to 116. So we're gonna move over very quickly, get this off and let it rest, since I think it will continue to carry over cook. And I'm gonna let that rest inside, since as you can see my breath, it is very cool. And I wish it was bright outside so you could actually see. It's raining, snowing, and hailing all at the same time. Canada. Anyways, enough about the weather. So I'm gonna let this rest for about 10 minutes, but I'm gonna leave the meter probe inside the tenderloin, and I wanna wait till I see the meat start to cool down. What that lets me know is that if I start hitting it with a sear, I'm not going to have the momentum to carry well past the internal temperature that I'm looking for. Since this is on its way down, any heat that's hitting it, it's gonna have to start to try and warm it back up. And by the time we're done that, we're gonna be done our sear. So this way we're not gonna overshoot our internal temperature. Bring you nice and close, take a look at our tenderloin as well as getting it off, let it rest, and I'll rejoin you for our taste test. Ooh, smells good over here. I sure hope it tastes as good as it smells. So this looks lovely, nice color from that smoke coming from our aromatics. As you can see, these are completely gone. Our first bundle has turned white. So let's get this off, get it inside, We'll let it rest, and then I'm gonna show you how we're gonna sear a round steak. Okay, so our meter probe says our rest is over, and looking at the graph, this continued all the way to 133 degrees before starting to cool off. So it's now down on its way to about 126 degrees Fahrenheit, so I know it no longer has residual momentum helping it carry forward. If you haven't heard me say this before, this is a lot like trying to accelerate on the highway and holding your accelerator all the way down, and then the minute you let off, you're not gonna land right at 55 miles an hour, you're gonna continue past. And so bigger cuts contain more energy, hold more energy, and they're gonna carry over cook much more than a really, really thin cut of steak or something like that. So just try to account for your larger roasts. They're gonna retain that heat and not be as sensitive to the ambient air temperatures around them that are helping to cool off. Now, one of the reasons I don't love tenderloin is it's hard to get a great crust and a great sear on a round steak. A ribeye, on the other hand, you just throw it on a nice flat surface, you get a great crust. And so I've got a game plan, and it involves our sous vide gun, because I think this, we're gonna get a good sear. Let's try it. Okay, our steak has an amazing sear. Our creme fraiche has set up. I did a quick little taste test, and this should have, if you're going for taste, I like the heat, the little kick of the horseradish, plus then immediately transitioning into some of that warm, smooth, sort of the fat that you're getting from the sour cream, along with our salt and pepper and garlic coming through. So a little bit of a zest, followed by immediate, something that feels like the holidays and a bit warm. So that is right on the money. So without further ado, let's get into slicing this. I've got a little bit of my Malden smoked sea salt here just in case we need a little bit of extra pop and a slice. I can't wait to dig in and see if this is on the money and we finally have a tenderloin everybody will love. Oh, that looks lovely. Let's get a slice. So tender. Almost just wanted to pull apart as I was cutting right there. Get a little bit of smoked salt. Just go Salt Bay on one piece here so we can try each one. So this aptly named tenderloin is incredibly tender. So let's dig in. I'm going to start, easy for me to say. I'm going to start with our non-salted piece and then move to our salted piece. Go for it. Oh, that's good. I've never liked a piece of tenderloin this much. Holy cow, that's good. Let me add a little bit of our creme fraiche here to the board. Oh, it's gonna be so good. Let's get in there. I wish I could share this with you guys. Oh, that's how you do it. Just nice big dollop. Let's go for it. Sorry to go all rocky on you there. Oh, this is good. Wow. All right, well, now we have to test the salt one, see if it's any better. I don't know how it's any better because that was really good. Again, with our creme fraiche. Get a little bit on here. Cheers. Lights out. This is fantastic. I can't believe I disliked tenderloin for so long when all I needed to start changing is our salt brine method, adding some aromatics instead of over smoking it. And this creme fraiche sauce really sets it off on the holiday. I hope your family is in store for a taste of this holidays, because I can't imagine a meal that will sort of set you apart from others in your family who may be competing for Christmas honors. This is incredible. I hope you really enjoyed today's cook. If you did, please let YouTube know by smashing that thumbs up button, and let me know by hitting subscribe to catch future videos. Until next time, I'm James from Smokin' Dad Barbecue signing off, and remember, don't be afraid to fire it up.